What is going on, guys? Cam from Fight Octave here, and today it is UFC 310 Fight Day, and I'm going to be giving you my full main card predictions and some must-watches on the prelims. I think we're at 78% correct on picks right now. It's something like that on my TikTok, but let's go through this prelim card. We'll go through the main card, and yeah, I'll give you my predictions. This is my first must-watch on the prelims. This is not the first prelim of the night, but I'm going to be highlighting my favorite fights of the prelims and who I think is going to win. So this is going to be a banger right here. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. Randy Brown is a dog. He's a good fighter. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Brian Battle, on the other hand, is on a 3-fight win streak and no contest in the middle of that. So we'll just call it a 3-fight win streak. Brian Battle is an amazing striker. He just come off a big win in France recently. He is the favorite in this fight, and I do think he will win this fight. A knockout would be cool, but I would assume decision in this fight. It will be a banger, though, no matter what happens. Well, I can't believe I'm even saying this. Aljamain Sterling is on the prelims again. So this is insane to me. He's like the third fight away from the prelims. I mean, he just fought for the title last year. He had the title for, I think 5 fights straight, 5 title fights straight. I mean, he is one of the best in the bantamweight division. Now he has moved up to featherweight, and he's taking on Movsar Evloev, who is a undefeated Russian fighter. Very good grappling. He usually wins by decision. I think his last 7 fights have been won by decision, but it will be a close fight in my opinion. They have Movsar at a minus 250 favorite. I do not think this is correct. It should be probably minus 150. I think it will be a very close fight. The problem is Sterling does not have good grappling defense. Even though he's a good offensive grappler, he does not have good he does not have good defensive grappling at all. And I think that will be a major problem for Aljamain Sterling in this fight. And how could you pick against an undefeated Russian fighter? These guys come through and destroy these guys. It will be a close fight. I will be rooting for Aljamain Sterling, but unfortunately, I do think Movsar Evloev does get the win in this fight by submission, probably in one of the later rounds. And for the last prelim I will be covering for you guys, this is Dominic Reyes taking on Anthony Smith. This is obviously 2 veterans of the sport. Dominic Reyes, who's only 34 years old, he did put up one of the greatest fights with John Jones we have ever seen. Anthony Smith, on the other hand, has been on a little downward spiral recently. He got knocked out by Khalil Roundtree. He did have a Petrino sub, which was kind of surprising to me. But I do think I will take Dominic Reyes in this fight. They have him as a minus 390 favorite. I think he will easily get the win, maybe even by knockout, but I would guess decision or knockout. And if it is a knockout, I would say probably round 2 or 3. Now we are moving on to the main card. Sorry, I only covered 3 prelim fights, but I wanted to cover my 3 favorite instead of doing the whole card. But here we go. The main card. This is the first fight on the main card. We have Landwehr versus Choi. And honestly, I think Choi is a dog. Even though he has had some struggles getting knocked out in the UFC, this dude swings. He is entertaining, and that is why they put him on the main card. He is the underdog, and in pretty much a split fight, though, it is plus 110 and plus 130 for Landwehr. But honestly, I am taking Choi in this fight as the slight underdog. I think he will go in there swinging, and I think that is why they put him on the main card. They put him on there to get a knockout, and that's what I see happening. For the next fight in the main card, we have Bryce Mitchell taking on Kron Gracie. I think this is a very interesting and kind of weird matchup that the UFC put together. Obviously, Bryce Mitchell is a solid fighter. He always stays up there with the big guys. Usually he can. They have him as a minus 950 favorite. So you got to bet $10 to win $1 pretty much. So they think he's going to win this fight, I think, very easily. Kron Gracie, obviously great jiu-jitsu, but you can't just have jiu-jitsu. You got to have striking. You got to have the full package with you, and I think Bryce Mitchell has that. And Bryce Mitchell has great jiu-jitsu defense as well. So I do think I'll be taking Bryce Mitchell in this fight. Obviously, his last 2 losses aren't even that bad. The knockout was awful versus Josh Emmett, but before that, his loss was a submission loss to Ilia Topuria, who is now, obviously one of the best featherweight in the world right now. But I will be taking Bryce Mitchell in this fight very confidently. Okay, here is when it gets fun. Cyril Gane taking on Alexander Volkov. This is going to be a banger fight. Both of these guys are hot right now. They're in hot streaks. Obviously, Cyril Gane, his loss to John Jones was a while ago. But both of these guys coming off of two big wins. Volkov over Pavlovich, and obviously Cyril Gane, who his last one was over Sergey Spivak. So I think this fight will be a good fight. Honestly, I think it will end in a knockout, in my opinion. I like Volkov in this fight at the plus 290 they have him at. That is a big underdog for Volkov, and I think the odds are not that widespread. But I do think I will be picking Cyril Gane to win this fight. It is closer than people think, but I believe Cyril Gane does outstrike him a little bit more. Now we are on to the co-main, and this fight I need to talk about a little bit. This fight is insane. People will say, this is like, the casuals will say, this isn't a big fight. This is just co-main. It's not a title fight. This is one of the best fights you can make in the whole welterweight division. These are, without a doubt in my mind, these are the two best welterweights in the whole division. I think these guys should be fighting for a title, but obviously Bilal Muhammad got hurt, so, it was supposed to be Shavkat, but he pulled out, but whatever. We now have Shavkat versus Ian Garry, which is a better fight anyways, okay? This fight is awesome. I am a huge fan of both of these guys. I have been a fan of Shavkat since 2021. I have been a fan of Ian Garry since I think it was late 2022, early 2023. I have met Ian Garry. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a huge fan of Shavkat. This fight is, for me, my favorite fight of the year probably for the matchup. It's obviously not the best fight of the year, but it is my favorite matchup of the year. Both of these guys are undefeated. They have never lost. Someone's always got to go. Ian Garry at plus 300 underdog. I hate those odds. This fight is 50-50. Ian Garry is so slick on the feet. He is so much better striking than Shavkat is, and that's just the truth. On the other hand, the grappling of Shavkat Rakhmonov is 1,000 times better than Ian Garry. And I know many people will say, grapplers always beat strikers. But in this case, I do not see that. Shavkat likes to stand up. Doesn't matter if he's fighting a grappler or a striker. And he gets sloppy towards the end. And I think this is the problem with Shavkat. He will get sloppy towards the ends of the third round. And this is a 5-round fight. So he will get sloppy towards the end of the third round and the end of the fourth round. So I think that will affect Shavkat very significantly if he does not get the finish in round 1 or 2. Keep in mind, Shavkat has finished every single fight, and you're giving him 5 rounds now, so I would not be surprised if he gets the finish, but I will also not be surprised if he gasses out towards the ends of the 4th and 5th round. And this is what I think is so interesting about this fight. I think Ian Garry can outstrike him, and I think that will affect Shavkat significantly, and it will be an extremely interesting fight. And honestly, I'm going to pick Ian Garry in this fight. At plus 300, Ian Garry could knock out Shavkat. Imagine what that would do to his resume. People hated Ian Garry 6 months ago from some BS about whatever, his family or whatever. People will forget about that, and they will say Ian Garry is the best welterweight on the planet. And that is what I think is going to happen. I'm picking Ian Garry to win this fight, and I cannot wait to watch this fight. And honestly, I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins. I love both of these guys. I'm so happy one of them will be the number 1 contender. But I am picking Ian Garry because I think he will win. And lastly, we have an awesome fight here. Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. Kai Asakura, this is his first fight in the UFC ever. He has come from Risen. This will be an insane fight. It will be awesome. But the problem is Kai Asakura's grappling is not on the level of Pantoja. And this is what Pantoja does. He will take down his opponent, and he will drag them into these deep holes where they cannot escape with the grappling, and it is extremely interesting and awesome to watch. This is why I think I will be picking Pantoja in this fight, most definitely. I think Pantoja will most definitely get the submission, probably in the 4th or 5th round, and Asakura will be in big trouble here. So, yes, this is my prediction video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Help me out a little bit. Sorry, I had a little break. I was busy. But whatever, we're back. We get the prediction video out. This is going to be a sick fight night. Make sure you guys tune in. Cannot wait to watch. And I will make a recap video this week about what my thoughts are on the results. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and take care.